The story begins with three little pigs who had grown up and decided that it was time for them to leave their mother and build their own homes. They were excited about this new chapter in their lives and couldn't wait to start building their own homes. The first pig, who was the eldest, was eager to build his home quickly, so he decided to build his house out of straw. He thought it would be the easiest and quickest option. The second pig, who was a bit more practical, decided to build his house out of sticks. He thought it would be a bit more sturdy than the straw house. The third pig, who was the most thoughtful, decided to build his house out of bricks. He knew it would take longer to build, but he also knew that it would be the most secure and durable option. The three pigs set out to build their homes with enthusiasm and determination. The eldest pig built his straw house in no time, and he was very proud of it. The second pig also built his stick house quickly, and he was also proud of it. The third pig, however, took his time building his brick house, but he knew that it would be worth it in the end. As the three pigs finished building their homes, they knew that they were ready to start their new lives. They said goodbye to their mother, who was proud of them for taking this step and for building their homes with determination. They knew that they would have to face many challenges in the future, but they were ready to face them together, as a team. The first pig, who had built his house out of straw, was very excited to move into his new home. He thought that it was a perfect size and that it would be a great place to live. However, he soon realized that his house was not as sturdy as he had thought. One day, while the first pig was out, the big bad wolf came to his straw house and blew it down with one strong huff and puff. The straw house was not strong enough to withstand the big bad wolf's powerful breath, and it collapsed in an instant. The first pig came back home to find his house in ruins. He was devastated and felt like he had made a big mistake by building his house out of straw. He realized that he had underestimated the power of the big bad wolf and that he had not taken the necessary precautions to protect his home. The first pig was worried and didn't know what to do. He knew that he needed a new home, but he didn't have the resources or the skills to build one. He was also worried about what the big bad wolf would do next and how to protect himself. He realized that he had underestimated the importance of teamwork and the strength of working together to overcome challenges. The second pig, who had built his house out of sticks, was feeling much more confident than his elder brother. He thought that his stick house was more sturdy and secure than the straw house. However, he soon realized that his house was not as strong as he had hoped. One day, while the second pig was out, the big bad wolf came to his stick house and blew it down with two strong huffs and puffs. The stick house was stronger than the straw house, but it was still not strong enough to withstand the big bad wolf's powerful breath, and it collapsed in an instant. The second pig came back home to find his house in ruins, just like his elder brothers. He was devastated and felt like he had made a big mistake by building his house out of sticks. He realized that he had underestimated the power of the big bad wolf and that he had not taken the necessary precautions to protect his home. The second pig was worried and didn't know what to do. He knew that he needed a new home, but he didn't have the resources or the skills to build one. He was also worried about what the big bad wolf would do next and how to protect himself. He realized that he had also underestimated the importance of teamwork and the strength of working together to overcome challenges. The third pig, who had built his house out of bricks, was the most thoughtful and practical of the three. He knew that building a house out of bricks would take longer and would be more challenging, but he also knew that it would be the most secure and durable option. As he built his brick house, he took the necessary precautions to protect it from the big bad wolf. He made sure that the bricks were tightly packed together and that the mortar was strong. He also added a sturdy door and windows that could be locked to keep the wolf out. When the big bad wolf came to blow down the third pig's house, he huffed and puffed with all his might, but the brick house stood strong. The wolf could not blow it down, and he was not able to enter the house. The third pig was relieved and proud of his hard work and determination. The third pig realized that the key to protecting his home was to work with the right materials and to take the necessary precautions to keep the big bad wolf out. He also realized that he had made the right decision by building his house out of bricks and that the effort he had put into building it was worth it. He knew that his brick house would be a safe and secure place to live and that he would be able to protect himself from the big bad wolf. After the big bad wolf had blown down the straw and stick houses, the first and second pigs were left without homes. They were devastated and didn't know what to do. They were worried about where they would live and how they would protect themselves from the big bad wolf. The first and second pigs knew that they needed to find a new home, and they realized that their only option was to seek refuge with their third brother in his brick house. The third pig, who had been successful in building a strong and secure house, was happy to take in his brothers. When the first and second pigs arrived at the brick house, they were relieved to have a safe place to stay. They were also grateful to their brother for opening his home to them and for being willing to help them in their time of need. The first and second pigs realized that they had underestimated the importance of teamwork and the strength of working together to overcome challenges. The three pigs knew that they had to work together to protect their home and to keep the big bad wolf out. They knew that they needed to be a united front and that they couldn't do it alone. They also knew that they needed to learn from each other's mistakes and use their strengths to make their brick house a safe and secure place to live. The three pigs knew that they needed to come up with a plan to protect their brick house from the big bad wolf. They knew that the wolf was powerful and cunning and that they needed to outsmart him to keep him from blowing down their house. They sat down together and brainstormed different ideas. They knew that they needed to use their resources and their strengths to outsmart the wolf. They also knew that they needed to work as a team to be successful. The first pig, who was clever, suggested that they should use clever tricks to outsmart the wolf. He proposed that they should use a decoy to lure the wolf away from the house, and then they could trap him. The second pig, who was strong, suggested that they should use physical strength to defend their house by fortifying the doors and windows, and to be ready to defend their home if the wolf attempted to enter. The third pig, who was resourceful, suggested that they should use their resources to outsmart the wolf by gathering materials and tools that could help them. The three pigs decided to use a combination of all the ideas they had discussed. They built a decoy made of straw, sticks, and bricks to lure the wolf away from the house. They fortified the doors and windows and gathered materials and tools that could help them to trap the wolf. They also made sure to have a plan in case the wolf managed to get inside the house. They knew that their plan was not perfect, but they also knew that by working together and using their strengths, they could outsmart the big bad wolf and keep him from blowing down their brick house. The three pigs put their plan into action and used their teamwork and resourcefulness to trap the big bad wolf. They used the decoy they had built to lure the big bad wolf away from their brick house, while they made sure to fortify the doors and windows. They also gathered materials and tools to use in case the wolf managed to get inside the house. When the big bad wolf came to the brick house, he saw the decoy and thought it was the real house. He huffed and puffed and blew down the decoy, but he didn't find the pigs inside. He realized that he had been tricked and decided to look for the real house. The 3 pigs were ready for him, and when the wolf came to the brick house, they were waiting for him. They used their physical strength to hold the door shut and their resourcefulness to trap the wolf using a trap door, which leads him to a cage, where they locked him up. The big bad wolf was trapped and the pigs were finally safe. They had outsmarted the big bad wolf and had kept him from bothering them again. They realized that by working together and using their strengths, they had been able to overcome the challenge they had faced. The 3 pigs had shown that teamwork and resourcefulness were essential to overcome challenges. They had also shown that by working together, they could accomplish anything. They knew that they had to continue to work together and use their strengths to keep their brick house safe and secure. The 3 pigs learned a valuable lesson during their experience with the big bad wolf. They learned that working together and using their strengths were essential to overcome challenges. They realized that they couldn't do it alone and that they needed each other to be successful. The first pig, who was clever, learned that his cleverness was an important asset and that he needed to use it to help his brothers. He learned that he couldn't rely on his cleverness alone and that he needed to work with his brothers to be successful. The second pig, who was strong, learned that his strength was an important asset and that he needed to use it to help his brothers. He learned that he couldn't rely on his strength alone and that he needed to work with his brothers to be successful. The third pig, who was resourceful, learned that his resourcefulness was an important asset and that he needed to use it to help his brothers. He learned that he couldn't rely on his resourcefulness alone and that he needed to work with his brothers to be successful. Together, the 3 pigs learned that they needed to use their strengths together to be successful. They realized that they were stronger together than they were alone and that they needed to work together to overcome challenges. They knew that they would always have each other's back and that they would always be able to work together to overcome any challenges they would face. After successfully trapping the big bad wolf, the 3 pigs continued to work together to maintain and improve their brick house. They knew that they needed to take care of their home to keep it safe and secure. The first pig, who was clever, took charge of coming up with new ideas and improvements for the house. He suggested adding a garden to grow fruits and vegetables, a well to have fresh water, and even a lookout tower to keep an eye out for the big bad wolf. The second pig, who was strong, took charge of the physical labor and made sure that the house was in good condition. He made sure that the walls and foundations were strong, and that the doors and windows were secure. The third pig, who was resourceful, took charge of gathering materials and tools to make their home more comfortable and functional. He made sure that they had enough firewood, and that they had all the necessary tools to make repairs and improvements. Together, the 3 pigs worked hard to make their brick house a comfortable and safe place to live. They knew that they needed to work together to keep their home in good condition, and they were proud of what they had accomplished. They also knew that they needed to continue working together to maintain and improve their home. Feeling proud of their hard work and accomplishments, they invited their mother to live with them. They knew that she would be proud of them and their home, and they wanted to share their newfound safety with her. She was happy to join them, and they all lived happily together in the brick house, safe and sound from the big bad wolf. The story of the three little pigs reaches a satisfying conclusion with the three pigs living happily in their strong and secure brick house. They had overcome a big challenge by working together and using their strengths, and they were proud of what they had accomplished. They had learned the importance of teamwork and resourcefulness to overcome challenges, and they knew that they would be able to use those lessons in the future. They also knew that they needed to continue to work together to maintain and improve their home. Their mother was happy to live with them, and they all lived together in harmony in the brick house, enjoying the fruits of their labor and the safety and security that came with it. They were grateful for the lessons they had learned and the experiences they had shared, and knew that they would always cherish the memories of their adventure together. The story ends with the three little pigs living happily in their strong and secure brick house, safe from the big bad wolf. They had learned the importance of teamwork and resourcefulness, and they knew that they would be able to use those lessons in the future. They were grateful for the adventure they had shared and the memories they had made, and they knew that they would always cherish the time they had spent together, working towards a common goal, and building a safe home for themselves and their family.